All right. Could you tell me a little bit about your goals and what you hope to get out of these sessions?
Yeah, so I I have a biology and like medical background and I pivoted into product management or tech in the past couple of years, but I feel like my um my tech knowledge or is not as robust I would want it to be. And I want to get to a point where I can like create apps or prototypes or even like a product on my own.
Cool. And what's your current level of programming?
Like nothing.
I see.
I,
Okay.
I took a class when I was in college, like a C++ class, and since then I haven't touched anything.
And how was C++ for you?
I did well in the course, but I don't like it's been so many years, I don't remember much of it.
Okay. All right. I will give you the absolute beginner, like how I would like give an absolute beginner, but I think it might be too easy for you. And if it is, just let me know and we could pick up the pace.
Sure.
Okay. And like the stuff you want to do with technology, is that related to biomedical at all, or you just like want to do like anything with programming?
I would love to build a product within like the healthcare tech space or biotech space. So
Okay.
yeah, something at that like at the intersection.
Okay. Hmm. Okay, it's gonna take a while to build there, but okay, let's get started and we'll see where that takes us.
Sure.
So I will start you off with I'm gonna send a link in chat in Zoom chat. It's a web editor, so you can like type code in it and run code on it. You could open that and share your screen, that would be great. Nice. Could you zoom in a few times? Oh, like Control plus. Oh wait, is this Mac? Like Command
Yeah.
plus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
Perfect. That's good. All right. So this language is called Pirate, Pyret. It's like
Mhm.
Python, but designed
Mhm.
for beginners. We'll start off here for a bit. We might transition to another programming language. We'll see. Okay. To start with, I would like you to think of two numbers and add them. Great. Okay, let's run it and see what happens. So there's a blue button there. There we go. Oh, what happened here?
Must have white space. Okay.
Okay, so you can delete the first line now. Perfect. Nice. All right, so programming is like using a calculator, which is unsurprising because a calculator is a computer. Um, Compared with your C++ days, I suspect that you are writing a lot less. You sort of just write what you want and it just works.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's part of the benefit of this language. All right, could we add a third number? All right, let's run it. 7. Cool, the math checks out. Hmm. Could we replace one of the plus signs with a minus? What happened here?
Oh, okay. And it's parentheses.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was asking like, oh, do we add first or do we subtract first? And you've decided you want to subtract first.
Okay.
Okay, are you familiar with BADMAS from mathematics?
PEMDAS, yeah.
Oh yeah, PEMDAS, yeah. So in mathematics, there's like a convention for what operation you should perform first.
Hmm.
For example, one should multiply before adding. That does
Yeah.
not exist here. Uh, at least in this programming language, it does not exist.
Okay.
And it's because in programming, there's a lot more operations. Like PEMDAS is 6 letters long, but
Hmm.
in programming, it's going to be like 20 letters long at least. Lots of operations. Some programming languages do require you to memorize them. It's very painful. But this language is designed for beginners and they don't want them to feel pain, or at least a lot of pain. And so you don't memorize anything. You have to be clear and specific as to what the order of operations are.
Okay.
Okay, great. Right, let's try something different. Let's clear everything. Let's delete everything. I'd like you to write two numbers separated by a comma. Now surround all of them in parentheses. And before the first parentheses, I'd like you to write the following. NUM, uh, hyphen, MIN. Cool, okay. Before we run it, what do you think is going to happen?
It's going to give the smallest number in that set.
Okay, cool. Let's run it and see. Two. Great. Okay, so you seem right. Um, okay, so yeah, it's min short for minimum, which I think you guessed.
Hmm.
And it's prefixed with num because this is a numeric operation. Let's add this whole thing to another number. Cool. Okay. So in in mathematics there could exist an infinity of mathematical operations, but there are only so few symbols that we have on our keyboard. And so at some point we have to start using words, which you can see here like num min. That is a
Hmm.
math operation, but we express that using words. The same way we can subtract and add on the same line, we can perform minimum and add on the same line. There is no ambiguity as to order of operations because there's sort of like a parentheses over there in num min. So you can see, oh, we should do num min first with 2 and 3. Okay, great. So far we've explored the laws of arithmetic, but here on this page, let's move forward in time a little bit. Can we delete everything?
Hmm.
And let's write x equals 1, new line, x. Now, before we run it, what do you think is going to happen?
It's going to spit out the value of x.
Okay, let's run it. 1. Okay. Yeah, so the variable substitution. We have moved forward from arithmetic and now involving algebra, and variable substitution is an important concept here. Let's try something. Can we add a new line between x equals 1 and x? And let's write x equals 2. Now, before we run it, what do you think is going to happen?
You're going to get an error
Why?
because one variable can't be equal to two different numbers.
Okay, let's run it and see. Yeah. So yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. But not all programming languages will have the same result here. In
Hmm.
other programming languages like Python, this would be okay. Uh, but here, whenever we use the equal sign, we say that we're making a declaration. And, it's like the Declaration of Independence. Once you declare it, you declare it. You
Hmm.
can declare independence again. Right. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Let's replace x equals 2 with y equals 2. And let's do x plus y. Yeah, let's run it.
Oh,
Great. Okay, so we get more than one variables. Can we change y equals 2 to y equals x? Cool, let's run it. Hmm. Okay, why did we get 2 here?
because y is if y is equal to x and x is equal to 1, then y is equal to 1.
Okay, good, perfect. Okay. Okay, you're definitely very fluent with all this. Okay, we'll keep going for now, but I suspect I may have to move you to. So for students that are like learning kind of fast, I usually move them to Visual Studio Code Live Share.
Uh-huh.
I don't suppose you have Visual Studio Code.
I do actually.
Huh.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
'cause I've been trying to work on like a project on my own using Claude.
I
But my
see.
problem is that like okay, like an individual line of code I can kind of like figure out what it means. right? But then like overall, I don't know how like Claude had set up the project, for example, right? And like I can't write something from scratch.
Okay. Okay, that's like long way from where I usually start. Um, like, for example, like what kind of projects do you work on?
Like right now I was just so I could get more familiar with the tool, I was like I was building something that would auto summarize. Um, okay, so basically what I had built, it was like making an API call to Claude to automatically summarize like certain patient data and present it back to the physician. And then I'm
Okay.
just gonna keep building from there. But I want to understand how it built it, not just like being able to use AI to build it.
Okay. Okay, the idea of like summarizing information, that's usually like statistical techniques behind there.
Hmm.
Like mathematicians come up with algorithms and then the computer scientists implement them.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't say computer science, the programmers implement them. Uh, so as to like, what's the nature of the algorithm that allows us to summarize that information? That's like really hard. Um, but if it's things like, how do we glue all these smaller systems together?
Yeah, more like that. I'm
Okay,
not saying like I need to understand like okay the nitty-gritty of like how the LLM is working. I'm saying like
okay,
how did it actually build out? Like what are the different components of this product that I'm making? Like how did it actually build it out?
okay. Let me think about this. Uh, is there like an example you could show me that does not contain any sensitive data? Like for
Yeah,
example, like patient data, we can't show that.
yeah, I mean the data I'm using is synthetic. I can show it to you.
Okay. Yeah. I think it'd be more helpful if I could see something concrete.
Sure. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Um, okay, yeah. So I was using Claude to build this all out, and
Yeah.
it created this entire file with all of these other files and folders and whatever within it.
Okay.
I don't know why it built out what it did. Like I
Okay.
understand how it functions all together for the most part, but
Okay.
what are all three of these different files, for example?
Okay. All right. So, okay. I want to preface all this by saying that, okay, how I learned computer science, I learned it from a very specific curriculum
Yeah.
where there are like 5 levels.
Hmm.
Usually, like these sessions I conduct I'm on like level one with all my students. The kind of questions you're asking me is like level three and four. So these are like pretty advanced. I will do my best to be able to help you, but I do not know what your fundamentals or your foundations are. So I might be building on like on empty air.
I
So
understand. It might
okay,
then it might just be like I think I this is more so you understand like what I'm trying to get to.
yeah.
But we can start from the beginning. That's fine.
Okay, no, I'm going to start with level three and four, and I'm going to see what questions you'll be asking me, and I can from there I can see how I could help you.
Okay.
So, okay, your question is, okay, you've asked Cloud, like, I want you to do something. It does stuff, but you don't know why it did the work, the things it did, right? Like this, is it like dissatisfaction with not understanding what's going on, or is it actually blocking you from achieving your goals?
Well, a little bit of both. I don't like that
Oh,
I don't know.
okay,
And then I also feel like, okay, if there were an issue that were to come up, because I don't know, I can't fix it.
okay. Have you tried like, oh, Claude, here's a problem. Can you try fix it? And what happens?
Well, I haven't had any problems yet. I was just
Okay.
anticipating that as I keep building this out, I'm gonna run into like a bug or something, right? And
Oh yeah, you definitely
I
will.
don't
Yeah.
I don't have the tools or the knowledge myself to be able to address what's going on. So then I'll have to like re
Mhm.
again rely back on Claude. And then I don't know if like the fix is correct or not.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, that's how they make money. They give you
Yeah,
a lot of code that
exactly.
you don't understand. Yeah. All right, we'll start with this. Um, so the okay, so this is a level three idea, but whenever you get into a new code base, the first thing you want to start with is like documentation that eases you into what's going on. So let's start with the readme.md. So this is a convention in between programmers, like the file, I mean in all caps, readme. It's like, come on, read me, you know.
Mm.
It's the first thing that you're supposed to read. So let's see what they created here. So very nice. They start with a description of a small backend that generates a physician-facing pre-visit summary from a patient's data using Claude. What's okay? Let me ask you, what's a backend?
Um, the back end is like the code base and all the functions that are happening in the back. So it doesn't have like UI to it. It's just everything that's running in the back.
Okay, it's pretty good. Also, can I see the? Okay, could you briefly describe what this is? Is it like how are customers meant to use your product here?
Um, so far what I've built out is only that, okay, um, a physician would be able to see all of the patients that are assigned to them for that day, and then click on a specific patient and then see a summary of that patient's data.
Is this like a UI? You say click, so is that UI?
Oh, I did start creating a front end for it, but I don't know where it is.
Okay, so that's the description is a bit off then, right? It's not as that maybe there is a backend, but it's not only a backend. There is a UI component to this.
Yeah, so I had this README file created before I built out the front end.
Oh wait, do you write this?
I didn't write it. I had
Oh,
Claude.
okay. Okay, so Claude generated it, but you made changes, but Claude didn't update the documentation. Is that what's
Yes.
happened? Okay,
Yeah.
so there's a thing called prompt engineering where you can like tell Claude like, okay, before you do anything, here are some guidelines I want you to follow.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm not a believer in prompt engineering, but there are some things you can do to finesse the LLM. One of the things you can do is ask it to always update the documentation after each change.
Okay.
One caveat here is that it will use more tokens because
Yeah.
it's yeah, so you have to balance that. It's going to waste tokens updating documentation, which isn't functional.
Hmm.
Okay. Anyway, but like my advice is to always keep documentation as in sync with the rest of your project as possible. Anyway, so yeah, I would begin with the README. So the description's a bit off. I'm getting a sense of what's happening. Next thing is project structure. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's always something you want to see in a README. So what is I mean, what's a code base, right? Code base is a bunch of code. What's code? Code you it's just bytes in a machine. How do we interpret bytes in a machine? We use a file system. What's a file system? Well, it's a system of files. Basically, we deal with files. You can't escape that. And project structure tells you how we organize those files. If you think about it, how we organize files is very arbitrary. In theory, we could have one giant file with like 1 million line of code. It's just unreadable. So we split up the files in a way that should make some sense, so it's easier to find things, to modify things. And so project structure is important because it gives you an idea of how they decided to organize files.
Hmm.
So I see here there is pre-visit prototype, client side. I'm guessing we don't see client side, we're only seeing pre-visit prototype. Oh no,
Uh,
we do see all.
no,
What's
you.
client side?
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Client side is it's a continuation of line 22. Sorry, I misread this. Okay. All right. So I can see there are two folders. There's well, two folders with code. There is lib public. Okay, and then servers.js is sitting on its own. Okay, so there are many mix of ideas going on at the same time. Let me break it down based on what I see. First is lib. This okay, so in programming, we usually like to split all logic code. Like lo when we say logic, right? What does logic mean? It means a million things depending on who you talk to. But usually it means the, how do I even see this is why it means a million things because no one could ever explain. I'm struggling to explain logic. It's like it's like when you're using a calculator, something's doing one plus like your addition and subtraction. That's like
Yeah.
logic.
Yeah.
The core logic is happening inside lib. Like for example, like patients.js, it seems like it's like handling the actual patient's data. Claude.js, that's like the logic for dealing with Claude. Prompts.js looks like because you're dealing with Claude, you need to have prompts. So prompts.js is responsible for producing the prompts. So that's library. Oh, lib is short for library. Okay. And then there's public. So it looks like public is what the user actually sees. Um, since we're doing web development, we have to do some explanation on web development. So the way the web works is that you're essentially letting people download files on the spot. So like when you open a web page, you're actually downloading a file to see the web page.
Hmm.
But the web now is very advanced. You can you can see more than just text. You can see images. You can click stuff. You can see pretty animations. So you're not just downloading one thing, you're downloading many things. So public, here's my guess. The reason why it's called public is because the user's going to see it, because those are literally the files the users are going to get. The users will literally download index.html, styles.css, app.js on their web browser to be able to see your web app. Uh, but like as I say these things, like all these like new things, so I was just like, oh, I already know this, but it's being repeated.
No, no, you're good. I don't know this. This
Okay,
is.
no, I just want to make sure to see where you're at. Okay. um, server.js. So usually we make a distinction between client side and server side. So server, you can think of it like a server in a restaurant, they serve you food.
Hmm.
So when you're on a web browser and you're browsing web pages and you click on a URL and you get to a web page, something is letting you download these files. We call that the server serving you these files. Um, so client side is like if I'm on my laptop and I open a URL, I'm the client. Like I'm like a customer, I'm the client.
Hmm.
I'm downloading these files. The server is what's serving me these files. So when we say things like client side, it's happening on my machine, on my local machine. Whereas when something's happening on server side, it's happening on the computer that's giving me the files. Note that both servers and clients are, in the end of the day, computers. Everything are just computers, but they have different roles in this system. The role of the client is just to download data, to view stuff on their machine. The role of the server, which is still a computer, is to be able to transmit data so that people can download stuff. Um, so I'm reading the description here. It says Express app. Express is I don't know if framework is the right word. When I say framework, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so there's a lot of like what is code? Code is just lines of instructions, but if you want to do amazing things, you need a lot of lines of codes. But some people out there they build tools with already a lot of lines of code in place so that you can start doing stuff without writing a crap ton of code. So Express framework, if it's a framework, I'm not sure if it's a framework. It gives you a bunch of code to already let you create a web app. They give you a lot of tools to let you do that. Um, And so the way in which you can see a static file serving plus API routes, that just means, okay, how do we give the clients the files? And how do we let clients talk to the server? All that is handled by Express framework. So you don't actually do that. You're just using this tool that already lets you do all these things. So all that is held in server.js. Um, do you know what API stands for?
Uh, application something interface.
Okay, the middle is programming.
Okay.
Okay, what's an API? What is an application programming interface?
Um, isn't it like a, the protocol that's used for like two softwares to communicate with one another?
Yes, perfect. Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. I really don't know where you're at, man. It's like I feel like you know all these things.
No, no, no.
Uh,
I only know because I worked as a PM for a bit. And
okay.
so because I worked with software engineers for so long, like I picked up things. But
I see. Okay.
it's like I know a lot of the like language, but then sometimes I don't know what it means or I don't know how to piece everything together. So I want to like make that knowledge more robust.
Okay. Okay, makes sense. All right. So in this context, API. So API, it just means how do two sides of a party talk to two sides of um two sides of a system talk to each other via
Mhm.
software. Uh, so like in our case, it's client and server. So client and server, they are like two opposite ends of a wire. They talk to each other over the wire, over the internet, over some kind of network. But how do they talk to each other? They need to speak. They need to either come to an agreement as to what the language they're speaking is. Right? If you send zeros and ones to some random client, he may not understand you. To
Mhm.
come to that understanding, they need to have a common ground, a common interface. So that's what the API is. And here, API, the server has an API in the sense that, okay, if you want to talk to me, you have to talk to me in this way. Here's my API. And so both the client and server code exist in this code base. So the programmer is responsible for making sure that the client and server can talk to each other. And the programmer would know what the API is.
Okay.
I'm speaking in a very abstract right now. I think it would be helpful to see some APIs later to make that clear, but for now, that's the idea.
Hmm.
Okay. So one thing I'm not seeing in this README that I usually want a README to have is a diagram, that a picture of what the code base roughly looks like on a very high level. So based on reading this, which might be outdated by the way, but there are three major components to this. There's the server side, which is server.js, it's just a single file. That's the client side, what the client actually sees. So that's the public file, sorry, public folder. And the third thing is the core logic of this whole thing. Now, I have to be very careful with the word logic because clearly has logic in it. Server.js is clearly doing stuff. But
Hmm.
when I say logic of the core logic, I'm really saying logic pertaining to the domain that we're working with. So I say that server is working with like the logistics of serving files, but it's not pertaining to the domain of like patient data, right?
Hmm.
Same thing with public, like index.html, styles of CSS. Yes, there's logic, there's domain stuff. That there is a domain, but that domain is not pertaining to like patient stuff. That domain is pertaining to how do we visualize the web? How are we showing animations? How are we caching things? That's dealing with logic for logistics, just getting things to work. Whereas Claude.js, prompts.js, patience.js, that's actually dealing with logic to a domain pertaining to what we care about, dealing with patient stuff, getting Claude to uh, summarize information. Okay. Before I move on further, actually, I do have. So this is not a programming question. This is like a design question. Why is it that you want Claude to provide the summary? Why not have the doctor just write a summary at the end of their sessions?
Oh, okay. So I just had thought of this just more so I could build something using an LLM. I'm
Okay,
not
sure.
saying that this is actually a viable product. I actually don't think it is at all.
Okay.
But I wanted to start off with something small like this so I could understand a little bit more about prompt engineering and then also how like APIs and LLMs and all of this works.
Okay, so my recommendation is to have as few dependencies. Now, I'm sure you know the word dependencies from project managing, but
Hmm.
like, so like Claude would be a dependency. Express framework would be a dependency. The more dependency you have, the more complex your system is.
Okay.
So I recommend like, if you want to practice prompt engineering, I want something like super simple, like recreate snake, for example.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, Dependencies, whenever you have a dependency, you need a way of communicating with dependency, and every dependency has a rule how you should operate with it. And that's where the complexity comes from. Like in theory, the code base with the lowest complexity is one with like no dependencies,
Hmm.
with the cost of you having to do more work to write all the things out.
So you're
Okay.
saying because I
Mhm.
have like the API call to Claude, that's a like dependency and like complexity that I've introduced?
Yes. Like for example, calling Claude, can you go to Claude.js? So sometimes programmers refer to the word incantation. It's like if you're a magician and you have like a spell book to perform spells, you have to say
Hmm.
certain words. Like if you watch Harry Potter, like I don't watch Harry Potter, so I don't know the words.
Hmm.
You have to say certain things to make things happen.
Yeah.
What does it mean? You don't care. You just have to say it. That's what this is. Like for example, all this here, you don't know what it does. It just does the work. Like you just have to talk to Claude. Claude has a certain way you have to talk to it. For example, you have to tell it, oh, what model do you want me to use? So line 12, you have to tell it the model. What's your max tokens? Oh, you got to tell that. What's the user role? So all these are like, it's just incantations. It's just busy work to get things working. And Claude wants you to do this because, Claude, the people who created this Claude API, they need to establish a language so that you can talk to it. So you have to speak their language.
Hmm.
In exchange, you can do more things. Okay, now you can talk to Claude, you can do all these amazing things, but you have to do all this busy work in order to unlock all those busy things. Sorry, in order to unlock all those amazing things. But your goal is just to figure out how to start a code base with prompt engineering, right? You don't need to build something amazing, so you actually want to cut dependencies.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah, all these ideas I'm talking about is like really high level, like very advanced. Um, Well, okay. All right. Let's go back to the README. Let's see what else is in there. So .env, that's just a convention for where you put like sensitive stuff. Env is short for environment. Usually, like if you're like an intern at a company, you give them a developer's environment, so you don't give them actual keys, so that, for example, the difference between a production key and a developer key, the developer key might have lower tokens, so that you can't accidentally bankrupt the company. If the developer key gets leaked, the the risk is very low and the harm is minimal, for
Hmm.
example. Wait, is .env containing sensitive information right now? Is there like keys you don't expose to public?
Yeah, it has the key in it.
Oh wait, how about .env.example? I'm guessing that's safe.
That should be safe.
Okay, can we see the dot example? Okay, yeah. So usually .env is like you see like the word equal sign and then like the value for that word.
Hmm.
That's typically how they look like. Usually you do not want to, there are different ways so like this is actually a genuine like engineering problem. You need these keys because like let's say you have a house, you want to enter the house, you need a key, right?
Hmm.
But like how do you safely give developers who are working in a product the keys without like giving everyone in the world the keys? It's actually a genuine engineering problem. For small projects, very simple. You have a thumb drive that has a key on it. You give them the thumb drive, they download it, they give you back the thumb drive, and that's it.
Hmm.
And then for small projects that it gets the job done. You could also email it to them, but then it's on their email, but. Um, so like you don't when you're working with a smaller I actually recommend if you want a small project, like make Snake without using the web, without requiring any keys. That way you don't have to worry about .env, so that cuts out one layer of complexity.
Okay.
Okay, let's go back to the README. Let's scroll down a little bit. So I'm seeing some setup here. So that's another thing about this. You have to do like some incantations, like how to set up the project. Um, for web stuff, well, for JavaScript web stuff, it's pretty normal to npm install. So you're using other people's code in order to run the project. How do you get other people's code? You need to install the dependencies. So npm is a package manager. You can install stuff through npm. Let's see, step two is add your API key. So that's pretty standard. Step three is start the server, npm start. So a lot more incantations. And like, how does it know that when you do npm start and npm run dev, how does it know to look for the specific files? So all this should be handled by either your framework. In this case, I suspect that could we open up package.json? I suspect all the information should be in there. Yeah, so if you look at package.json, like package.json is like the interface between you and npm. So this is how you talk to npm. So like if you see on line 7, start, the reason why the README is telling you to run the start command is because it's going to do this, node server.js. So whoever's calling this, whoever's executing this script, server.js, is probably the server. So if you, so when you're testing, you are both the server and the client. So
Mhm.
when we run start, we are running server code. So in production, there's actually a computer dedicated to just running server.js and will only run server.js. Okay, not maybe only run server.js, but it's like server.js will never go down. If it goes down, the server goes down. Um, yeah. Okay, so package.json, we can see other stuff as well, like the dependencies, like what other libraries you're using, like .env, Express. Oh, that's Express. Line 14, that's your Express framework dependency. So when you do npm install, it's going to look at line 10 to line 15 and see, oh, what dependencies you have here. It's going to install every single one of them.
So these are
Yeah.
all different files that it's installing?
Sorry, what's that?
Like you're saying that it's going to install all of these. So these are all different files?
Yes, there are many ways for get installing dependencies. The most common way is to just install the file on your computer. That's just the easiest way, right?
Mhm.
Remember, code is bytes. Bytes are organized in files, and so if you want to get the code, you got to get the files. Yeah. Sometimes some people do some crazy stuff, man, that isn't just files. Let's not get into that. For now, just assume they're files. Yeah. You're probably wondering, oh, where are the files? If you look on the left, you can see a node modules folder. I bet like $9,000 sits in there. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, these are all the files. You're probably wondering, wait, we only have 4 dependencies. What are all these folders? Uh, because each dependency might have more dependencies, right?
Hmm.
Which is why, so yeah, that's why the dependencies are like a measure of complexity because dependencies are usually exponential. One dependency has multiple dependencies. So for every dependency you get, you're actually getting like a crap ton of dependencies. And each one could have a crap ton of dependencies, and so it just explodes.
Got it.
Yeah. You're right. Okay, so okay,
This
let's head
might
back to
be
the
a
read.
dumb question. Why are they called node modules?
Oh, it's just a convention.
Okay.
I mean, you have to call it something. So the creators of npm, they're like, oh, we need a descriptive name for this folder that holds all of modules.
Uh-huh.
So name. That's the reason for modules. Why is it Node? Node is sort of like the brand. Like Node is it's a runtime. It's like code you run. Okay, how do I do? You've heard of Node.js, right? Like Node. You've seen
Uh,
the word Node everywhere.
yeah.
Like npm is Node package manager. Node is just a brand name.
Okay.
So that's the short answer.